and welcome to Crumbs Doilies. Welcome back to Veganuary, which is a really exciting month, full of plant-based excitement. And last week I gave you the recipe for our lovely vegan buttercream, which is just so tasty. You can use it in a ton of different ways. So this recipe today that I'm going to give you is for peanut butter and jam cupcakes, and I'm going to be using a variation on that icing to decorate them, of course. Moving on to the nitty gritty. So I'm going to start by making my cupcake sponge, and it is a really simple recipe. So I've got my big bowl in a mixer. I'm using my freestanding mixer, but you could, if you had a bit of stamina, you could just use a big bowl with a whisk if you would like, or a hand blender if you also like. So I'm going to start by putting my wet ingredients together. So I've got 245 millilitres of soy milk, 110 millilitres of vegetable oil, 100 grams of smooth peanut butter, and half a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and I want to put all of that into my bowl. So once all your wet ingredients are in, you can get that mixing, and just on a low speed. You're not trying to beat this together vigorously or anything. It just wants to come together until it's all combined. So this is coming together nicely. You will find that the peanut butter doesn't quite break down until you put all the rest of the ingredients in, so don't worry too much about that. But I'm going to put my dry ingredients in now, and I've got 240 grams of plain flour, which I've already sifted, 200 grams of caster sugar, and then in this little bowl I've got a teaspoon of baking powder, and then 3/4 of a teaspoon each of bicarbonate of soda and salt, and I'm just going to put them all in. And then you just want to fold that together until it all is really well combined. Right, that looks perfect. So now I'm going to distribute it among my 12 cupcake cases. Now actually, this batter may make 1 or 2 extra cakes. Whatever you do, don't try and use all of this batter in your 12 whole cases, otherwise it's going to really overflow and you'll have very ugly cupcakes. So I would rather you made extra cakes, and I'm sure you would too. So for ease, I'm actually going to put this into a jug because it's quite a runny liquid, and then I'm going to put it in my cases. So this batter is lovely and smooth. As you can see, there's no lumps and it's quite runny, but it smells amazing. So as you can see, I have filled these kind of 2/3 of the way full, which is plenty. And now I'm going to bake these at 170 degrees C, 20 to 22 minutes. And you want to touch them on the top, and if they spring back nicely, they're ready, as usual. So I'm back, and my cakes came out of the oven and cooled down, and they are looking really good. They're really moist and squishy, and they're just going to be so tasty. So PB&J, obviously, peanut butter and jam. So now is the jam part, and I'm going to be filling these with raspberry jam. That's my preferred jam to go with peanut butter. PB&J cupcakes are something we've been doing in the shop for a long time, and they're really popular. So it was one of the first ones we wanted to veganize, and this is a really good recipe, so I'm very excited for you. So using an apple corer to start with, make a little hole in each of your cupcakes. Now there is another good reason to taking the middle bit out of your cupcake, and that is that you get to eat the middle bit without anyone realising that anything's missing at all. So I've got my raspberry jam in a piping bag, and it's very important, if you are vegan and you're strict about that, then you make sure your jam is vegan. And obviously the best way of making sure is if you make it yourself, and you can just use raspberry goo if you prefer. I've done tons of recipes on that, so I can put a link in the corner there. I can never remember which side it is. Anyway, I'm going to get on with filling. So now all my cakes are filled with raspberry jam, I'm going to decorate them. And I have made some lovely vegan buttercream, and I've obviously made this peanut butter flavour because this is peanut butter cupcake. So all I did with that is to add between 100 and 150 grams of peanut butter, depending on your taste. Just add it and see how much you like. If you want to add more, please do, to the original vegan recipe. And also, if it feels a little bit stiff, you can loosen it up with some kind of like milk alternative, like soy milk or oat milk even, until it's nice and smooth like it should be. So now I'm going to load up my piping bag and get decorating. This is such nice icing to pipe with, and I've used a big round one. Of course, you can use any kind of nozzle you want. If you would like to make a pretty star nozzle, then go ahead. But to finish it off in the usual way, I'm going to do a splat of raspberry jam and then sprinkle some peanuts on top. I'm using roasted and salted peanuts because they are much tastier and the salt works really nicely with the sweet stuff. And there is the finished PB&J vegan cupcake. It's a really, really good one, this. So make sure you check out last week's vegan buttercream recipe because that is a brilliant one to have in your vegan arsenal. And don't forget, you can get these in the shop very often. We have vegan flavours every single day, and then obviously throughout Veganuary we'll be doing much, much more. And you can even order these online if you're in London. Unfortunately, we don't ship internationally, so I'm afraid you can't have them if you're elsewhere. But if you aren't, then order them. And there's also loads of other vegan stuff on our website, so check it out. I'll be back next week with another vegan recipe, so I'll see you then. Bye. Oh my God. Why do I always take such a big bite? Big mouth.